Hello, and welcome to Getting Started, an introductory training for Sogolytics. If you have never heard of Sogolytics before, hello! We invite you to learn a lot more about the company. In this session, we're really talking, though, about Sogolytics, the platform. My name is Melissa, and I will be your tour guide today. You can tell from my title that my job is to make you successful. So let's get started. In this, hopefully about under 30-minute session, the goal today is to make sure that you're able to log in, access your account, and start to navigate your way through the Sogolytics platform. We'll of course also get into starting your first project. Now within our platform, you have an abundance of options, and they will take you the whole way, we hope, from questions to answers. We'll start and focus most of our time today in the design portion of the platform because that's really where we're going to get into building where those questions are coming from, the answers, the visual settings, how does everything look and work together. Get also a little bit into distribution or publishing across multiple channels so you can collect responses. Naturally, that leads us into reporting and data. We'll spend a few minutes in there today, but of course, I'd like to let you know up front, we are not going to be able to cover every single thing in the platform in under 30 minutes. Consider this your introduction, and you are certainly formally invited to continue learning along with us, and we'll give you a few options for continued growth and understanding later in today's conversation. So without further ado, we'll spend most of the rest of the time in the platform. So if you want to pop me up on another screen, however you want to do it, and play along at home, you're certainly welcome. And of course, it's a recording, so you can watch as many times as you like, and maybe you just want to kick back and relax at this time. So I'm talking like you already have a Sogolytics account. If you don't, you can check out our website, sogolytics.com. Sign up free for a trial, or you can also request a demo if you'd like someone to walk you through a little bit more advanced options. Either way, once you're there, you've got login up in the top right corner, and that is going to bring you to, ta-da, no surprise, a login screen. It's going to look something like that. And once you enter your password and user ID, P.S. If you've already forgotten your password, click Forgot Password, and you'll see reset instructions sent directly to you. All right, so here we are in the platform. I've got my name up at the top. It's a good sign. Let's do a little bit of navigation. First of all, if you are logging in for the first time, your screen is going to look a little bit different. We've simplified your options because you don't have as many places to go. You know that you just need to get started. And even when you log in subsequently, you'll see these quick options for getting started right here. Create your next or first survey project with AI, check out our template bank of ready-to-use survey templates, or start from scratch. Now, if you have been using the platform before, you're going to see those recent projects below. You see that you can jump into any of them at any stage, depending on what's happening. You can't run a report if you don't have responses, for example, but all of those are quickly and easily accessible here. If you have lots of projects and you want to review them all at once, you can click View All Projects, or up here in the top left, you can click and see a menu of all of the projects that you've been working on through this entire account. Now, I want to draw your attention before we go any further to the Help Center that's on the right-hand side of the screen. Now, just like many things in this platform, your account type will dictate some of the options that you see here, but most of you will be able to have the option to schedule a one-on-one call with someone on our training team to walk you through something, to pop up a chat hidden in here so we're not chatting during today's conversation. You'll see that option though in many cases. Email support, check out our user guide and video library, as well as live trainings or walk through an entire product tour on your own. There's lots of cool stuff to check out in the Help Center. It is always going to be popped out right here when you start on the right-hand side of your screen, or if you see it popped back, you'll be able to click on it and open it up from the right-hand side anywhere you are in the platform. Last thing, if you need to get into any account management information, up in the top right-hand corner, you'll see your login information, your account settings, and of course, the ability to log out or get more help if you need to. Cool stuff, right? Like I said, there's a lot more to explore, but in the short version of today's conversation, let's just go ahead and start by creating from scratch. Again, great options to save you some time, but for demo purposes today, we'll start with create your own. Once you do, you'll see project types available based on your account type. I'm going to go ahead and stick with a simple survey for today, which is a great move. If you do need to make a change, you can also make those changes in project types later on in your account. Start from scratch, make a copy, template bank, AI. Again, the same options are available. I'm going to start with a blank one today to show you just how easy it can be. Easy video feedback is going to be the name of my survey today. And by default, you'll see this in your main folder, but you'll see you'll have the option to organize by more folders later. Right now, I'm going to start with English, perhaps unsurprisingly, and I will see the option to add languages here or at some other point later on. Again, if you want to do this now, cool. If you want to do it once you've completed your entire primary language, totally fine. You can't change your primary language later, but of course you can add more languages when you are ready. Okay, create, and here we go. All right, here's our blank canvas where we are ready to get started. You will see up in the top bar here, we've got the steps of the entire process, all the way, the ones that I mentioned before, and of course we're starting with design. Within each module, you will see, of course, relevant steps here too. Within Designer, I'm going to be able to add questions and answers, make it look pretty under visual settings, some more cool stuff under options like what does the thank you page look like, or I'm ready to add those languages now, for example. You'll see in most cases you're working left to right here, and if you come across something that isn't available yet, here, for example, text and translations looks like it's not available, you, of course, need to add some questions in order to be able to add logic or translate the text. All right, so let's go ahead and add some questions. What you'll see on the left-hand side under question types is, of course, a list of question options. You'll see top to bottom a good number of those here with the classic simple types up at the top. Now, if you are not familiar with our naming conventions for any of these question types, you can go ahead and hover. You can also click to learn more if you want to find out more information about this question type in the user guide. And as I mentioned before, that Help Center, if you really want to drill deep on it, is also going to be there on the right-hand side. You can also pop that out and learn a little bit more from the user guide here. Here, it's going to give you relevant options that are based on the screen that you see on the left, such as, how do I add a question? If you forget everything else that we talked about today, remember that the Help Center is always there on standby for you. So I'm going to go ahead and add a radio button question. One of the classic single select questions. Here I'm going to use, do you like this video? Important question for me here. So here I've got some options that are actually being suggested for me, which are really answers to how much do you like this video? I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to say yes, or I'm going to say no, for example. We know it's a single select question, so only one of these options will be available. Really nice, easy way to do things. If you have a longer answer set, you want to use it or reuse it over and over again, you can pull from the answer library. So if you wanted to say, where are you watching this from? For example, I could have this entire list dropped right in. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to keep it simple here, but it's a really great time saver to save from standard or save to an answer library, a custom set that you already have, something you want to use over and over again. Questions, answers, you're going to see question level options on the left-hand side here as well too. So these are going to be things like, should this question be mandatory? And of course, that means you have to answer it in order to move on. More stuff, rearrange them, cool things to think about, put them in columns side by side. These options, of course, will vary based on the type of question that you have. You might say, for example, though, you know what, I actually don't want this to be a radio button question. I realized the best thing for me to do here is actually make this a ranking question, or excuse me, a rating scale question. I might say, let's say, how much do you like this video? Because that was a great question. All right, and here I have the option. Notice my choices have changed here. I'm actually going to go ahead and start with a smiley scale because I love those. I'm going to say not at all the way up to totally. And because I have a 1 to 5 scale, it keeps it simple. I can change that. I can also change the style of smileys if I want, for example, sticking with the default color, or I'm just going to go bright yellow here as well. So once I save this one, you will see it pops right up here, and there is my beautiful looking survey coming along. Of course, it's inside the platform. It'll look a little bit different. We'll preview in a moment once you add another question. So I'm going to add another question here. Keep it simple, like, dislike, let's say. Will you watch another of our videos? Okay, here I can change the text if I want to. Yes, no. Again, you could also change the images if you like. I'm going to go with this one. Love it or broken heart. Okay. Notice here I have the chance to show labels, a question hint, anything like that along the way. And some of these question types are interchangeable and some are not. In this case, like, dislike can't be swapped to something else. Another one that we really love, of course, in terms of a question type. Yes, we love the checkbox where we can have more than one answer option, but I think many of you know where I'm going, which is text box here. So text box, drag and drop says, tell us what you like about this video. Okay, slightly biased question, but we'll play along here today. Notice that I have a pretty small box. It shows me 70% of the width. I can actually drag the corner of that here, make it bigger, make it a little taller or wider if I like. And here, notice on the left, I have another set of options. Here I can say general, or I can format it. This is in that garbage in, garbage out, only accept the kind of data that you want. I'm going to leave it as general, but the other option that I have here is to change the character count. Never give people a big box with a small character count or vice versa. It's super frustrating. Here I'm going to go ahead and say save. And obviously this is just looking super beautiful. So we'll come in here. So you get the idea. We can add questions. We can add information up at the top. We can add a header and footer. In this case, I might want to add a logo up at the top. I might just use my account logo, or you can upload a logo that's already been there. You can also add a header. So here, a header is going to appear. This is the title. I'm going to call it Video Feedback Survey. Notice the title that I had up here at the top, Easy Video Feedback, is my internal title for tracking. So I can say things like by Melissa or reference of the time and date or for a certain group, something like that. But anything that I put here in the survey itself, my participants will see. Now, I don't want this to match exactly the same style I have everywhere else, so I'm going to go ahead and say don't match and check that little box. I want this to be bold. I want this to be, let's say, even bigger. I'm going to make it size 20 just to start, and I'm going to center it as well. So how is this looking? This is looking pretty good, according to me. If you have multiple pages, the header and the footer will appear the same way on each page. So if you have, for example, multiple pages, let's say, for example, I decide to add a page at the bottom, or I can simply page break right here just to keep it fast for you. Now I'm going to see I only have one page, I only have one question. Here's my 2 pages. Now if I preview, which I can do right up here, if I preview, I can see, all right, video feedback survey, how much do you like it? Totally, yes. And then I can go to next. Notice I see video feedback survey on both of those pages. If I decide, however, I want some introductory text at the top that only appears on the first page, that's descriptive text. So here I'm going to say, thanks for checking out this video. All right, and here in this case, this is only going to appear on that first page. So I pop it up, take a look at the preview again. How does it look? Intro. Required information reminds me it's mandatory. Totally. Yes. And tell us what you like about this video. Perfect. Not repeating the same thing. And it reminds me also that if I want to, now's a good time to update the thank you page. Thank you page doesn't appear on the rest of the survey. Excuse me, it doesn't appear on the rest of the survey, but you'll see it here under options when you're ready to polish everything up. All right, I'm going to say that this is the most beautiful survey I've ever seen, but speaking of beautiful surveys, yes, you can certainly come over here to visual settings now and make it look even prettier if you want to. Visual settings is going to give you a little example survey here too with demo questions, and you can check and see what are the options that I'd like to use. Do I want to use a modern theme? Do I want to change a few colors? Notice you can use one of our defaults here, or you can get fancy and advanced. You can come in here to custom color palettes. You can also come into advanced colors and control almost every single element of the background here. So background here could be colors, it could be images. It could be all kinds of cool stuff. Keep in mind, though, at some point people aren't actually going to be able to see your questions. So make sure you're doing a lot of testing here in terms of accessibility. Again, it looks cool, but it's very easy to get carried away, unfortunately, at some point here. But there's a lot of cool display settings here, taking a look at the mode, the width of the screen, for example. Maybe I want this to be medium width versus narrow. You have a lot of cool controls over here. Once you come through and you've made all the changes that you want to, remember that compliance is really important. And of course, here we're talking about accessibility. You can always just swap to ADA compliant and we'll simplify your whole view. That's a really nice one to be able to do. And you can also come in and save this as a custom style if this is something you'd like to use over and over again. So if you're spending a good amount of time customizing your branding, just do it once, save it down here at the bottom, and the next time you come in, you'll be able to come down to saved styles and look at the list that you have from before. Let's call it green, classic green. That one matches with brand colors, and I love it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. And once you do that, remember, this is just a dummy survey. Sorry, survey. Obviously, you're looking at the preview now in our real survey. Notice I've changed the colors anyway, so things look a little bit different perhaps, but you'll see the buttons are green. All of the controls are the darker colors that I preferred as well too. So cool stuff. Now you decide, this is the most beautiful survey. If you got into it, you could certainly come into those text and translations options, like I said, adding logic, cool stuff that you're customizing the messaging for, making sure that it's personalized for each participant, sending alerts. Like I said, we don't have time to get into all of it here today in 30 minutes or less, so let's pop over to distribution. All right, here we are on distribution, where we are ready to publish the survey. Now, first of all, if all you need is one quick link, you're going to have lots of people participate in it or participate lots of times, show you the fastest way to get that link. Create a participation link, click generate. And there we go. And there's your link. That's all you need to do. You've got that URL generated. It's right there. Just copy it and you can share it. You can put it on your website. You can even get a QR code to use over and over again. So super efficient, super fast. There's your link. If, however, you want a little bit more finesse, let's say, or you have a more specialized method, maybe you want to use something like pre-population or mail merge in an email invitation. Cool. Prep your email invitation. There's lots of ways to get started there. And SMS, all of these are in this column here on the left. When you want to send an email invitation, I'm just going to pop over and show you over here on the right-hand side. You can also get your invitation prepped in advance. So if you'd like to be able to create that email template, maybe it has images on it, maybe it has different pictures on it of your logo or your different teams, all of those options that you're going to have in here, you can open up and customize. So lots of cool stuff to do here in the world of invitation templates. Won't dive too deep into there, but remember, that's where you can start. And when you are ready to send, you'll just click the option of your choice and continue through the wizard. Now, email is not the only option. You can see there are lots of other options. Great, generate multiple QR codes or links. This one's for the newsletter. This one's for the event flyer. Cool stuff down here. We won't go into details, like I said, on all of these. We'll just use email invitations as an example. Now, before you publish, do keep in mind that you should probably start with a test invitation and a test link to share with your team. These are really, really important because they're going to give you that option to create something that people can take a look at without actually collecting responses. It's always easier to edit your survey before you collect responses. In some cases, going live will limit you from making changes in your survey. So be very careful and publish only when you are ready. But a test invitation and test links you can send and share to the rest of your team. Don't use this for publishing. All right, let's assume that we've already gone through that process. In under 30 minutes, we don't have time for all of the testing and feedback that we might get through that process. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, yep, I am ready to send an email invitation. No matter which one you choose, you are going to get a wizard up here at the top that's going to say, all right, you've got an email message. Which one did you want to use? I'm just going to say this one. This is such a great one. I'm going to use this one right here. All right, well, where are your email addresses going to come from? You have a number of different options. Of course, you can, depending on your account type, have a few different choices. One I'm going to use today is the easiest one possible. Just enter your email addresses right here. Pop that one right in there. And if you hit enter or hit a comma, if you have multiples, you can put them in together or even line breaks as well. You can upload a file here, and of course you could upload a contact list. Contact list up here on the right side. That's something that you can manage over here. So when you're getting your email invitation prepped, you can also get your contact list ready as well too. That's a really good choice, along with directories as well too, if you want to pre-populate information, which is to say, I already know some information about my participants, so I don't have to ask them. Learn more about that separately as well too, but choose the option that matches your needs and also the contact information you have. Up at the top, I skipped over it, but you can see I'm using a single-use link. Remember that that is for one link per address. Or if you're sending to multiple addresses, the same person, they could participate multiple times, but one link per invitation, I should say. If you want people to be able to participate multiple times, send a multi-use link. 2 options, but both of them will look really nice in your email invitation. I'm going to go ahead and hit continue now. And there is my one invitation ready to go. Didn't test out my template here for visual time-saving purposes, but you can imagine that I've done that as well. I can preview it here, and now I can also decide to send it or schedule for later. I can also choose to schedule reminders if I'd like those to go out automatically to people who have not yet responded after a certain number of days. So let's say if people haven't responded, okay, hours might be a little bit much. We'll give it days. So if they haven't responded in 3 days, send one more invitation or send a reminder. I do customize that text if you're going to send a reminder so people know this isn't just you saying the same thing. It's saying, haven't heard from you yet. We'd really love to. Now's the time. So you can customize that if you want as well. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and say send these invitations now because I'm anxious to get feedback. Are you ready? Whew, I'm ready. All right, there's my joyous avatar here who is celebrating sending that one email invitation. And now I can actually pop over to track and see what's happening. Did anyone respond yet? You're probably not surprised to find out that no one's responded yet because I just sent it to myself and you can see my screen. So you know that I haven't responded yet. Here though, within track, you're going to be able to see if you've sent multiple distribution methods, you're going to be able to see each of them listed apart here, as well as the trends over time. There's those filters on the left here. You can filter by time, and you'll also be able to drill down based on what's happening with each of these folks below. Now, this is not very exciting looking because I haven't really gotten any responses. So I'm actually going to go up here to the top left, click on the logo here. You can go back to home from here if you like, or you can always go up to all projects directly, just showing you an option of how to get there. And actually, I want to go up to switch over to something that has a little bit more data. So yes, right now you can see in all projects, here's my most recent project, Easy Video Feedback. I'm actually going to swap over to this one called Company Retreat because you can see already it has a lot more data. And there it is, more data. So as I mentioned before, if you have different types of distribution methods, you will be able to track them all separately. So looks a lot cooler, looks a lot more interesting than my 0 for 1 tracking on the other screen. When we have those passwords, of course, we can see passwords. We've got single-use, multi-use links, shareable URLs. I'll just go back to that same single-use link so you see what it looks like. Here you'll have visibility into what's happening. When did you send it out? Were there reminders set? There's a lot of cool visuals that you can see here to say, what's the data that's most important to me? And be able to filter and display that here. If you need to export this data for reference, you can. But track is super, super helpful if you want to know what's going on in real time. Now, tracking the participation is one thing, but really, we're all here for the reports. There's no question that reporting is the most important part of our conversations that we have with our clients. And we know that all starts with good design. So just a moment or two here for reporting and data, but when you come into reports, you're going to see all of the data available as soon as it comes in. You have a variety of different report types up here at the top. I encourage you, if you'd really, someone who just loves spreadsheets, then just get your own response table. You want to see individual responses or just the open-ended text. There's a lot of cool options that you have here. Again, depending on your account type, but Omni is a really great one to start with. Omni is going to show you all of the data in a, by default, very blue format, and all of your metadata as well here. So you have a lot of cool information really right away at a glance. It is dynamic, like I said before. You can also modify what you actually want to see. Do you want to change the colors? Do you want to have everything look a little bit different, for example? Do you like data tables or graphs? Here, just for the sake of a little bit of adventure, I'll say, actually, I really like stacked bar graphs. And actually, I really like rainbows, so let's go with that. And all of a sudden, my whole report is going to be updated, and I'll be able to review it quickly in the format of my preference. Spend hours on this project and this topic, of course, by itself. Let's just say, though, when you find the perfect one, you might decide that you want to email it to the rest of your team. You might want to save it and come back to it later. You might even want to download it into the format of your choice and be able to present. We have a whole separate session on reporting, so please do attend that one. But in short, most of what you want to be able to present can be done right within the platform without having to manipulate your data elsewhere, unless you're really into that. And if you're really into that, that's where the data tab comes in. So when you come here to data, keep in mind that you have the ability to export data and import. So if you've been working elsewhere on the same project, maybe you have some historical data. Yep, prep the survey in the platform. You can import the data in Sogolytics 1 format is the way to do it. But of course, if you need to export the data from your projects here, you want to archive them, keep them under your pillow, run additional analysis in there or share elsewhere, you can certainly do that in the format of your choice. Simply select the format that you want, and it'll take you through a wizard to be able to get you where you're going. Now, this has been a very fast half hour here. We're still within time, but I want to let you know and remind you there's so much to talk about here in this section. Please do come in to the Help Center. Please do pop open the user guide, pop open the video library as well too, and find out what it is that you would like to learn a little bit more about. In only about 30 seconds, I've just shown you the big idea of data, but that's hardly enough to do credit for all of the cool stuff that you're able to do there. So next step in Let's Go, remember you have good resources. You've got the user guide, video library, maybe you have chat in your account, but you also have our support team here that is ready to help you. So don't be shy, reach out to us, connect with us. We're here to help you be successful every step of the way. So hopefully this has been a helpful start for you in this very, very short period of time. So thank you so much for joining. It's been a pleasure connecting with you today, and I hope you're on the track to success. Be well, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks.